Okay. All right. What would your readers be shocked to know about you?
Would they really be shocked? Like, I mean, would anything that I do really be shocking? You see the silly stuff.
Yes.
Okay, what would they be shocked to know about me? Um, so I'm very sensitive and I cry very easily.
I was gonna say that about me because I don't know if anybody knows, but I'm a big crybaby. Oh my god, I'm a crybaby.
I walk
I cry
around
about
like I'm a
everything.
thug, but I cry and it's not big things. Like if a real life incident is happening, I'm very calm. I'm like, all right, we got to do this. And then after it's all done, I might be in my room by myself and be like, oh. But if I'm watching like, and don't laugh, you know that ASPCA commercial where every time that song comes on, I'm like,
Mine be the children. The children wear me out. The children, but let me tell you something. If it's a good book,
mm-hmm.
I be in here. My thug tears be on display. My son be like, "Mom,
Listen,
what is wrong with you?" I was
listen.
like,
I
"I'm a
just saw
thug." She was
Venus.
like, "You are not a thug, and you were here crying."
Listen, okay. That my son makes fun of me all the time. He's like, "Oh, mommy, you such a thug," and he'll hand me a tissue, like, "Here, wipe your face."
Mm-mm.
Crying again. But I just saw Venus pop up. Venus Knight. I just read both of her books actually, but she has one book out called Finding Happy, and it's women's fiction, but there were parts of that book, especially towards the end, I was literally like. Like I get way into the story,
I'm
way
writing it
into the
down.
story. So, um, sometimes I know I'm just being sensitive and I laugh at myself, but then there's some certain books that's just if you are very good at conveying that, I'll cry. I'll be in here like I get
You
really
didn't have to
sad.
do that to that baby. You didn't have to do that to that lady. You didn't have to do that to that man.
I
Let
know
me in
how she
here just
feels.
boo hooing. Um, so I was gonna say the same thing because I'm the biggest crybaby. I cry about everything.
Everything, but it's like the music. I'm one of those suckers. Like you start playing that sad music, and I'm like, lips start quivering. I already know what's about to happen.
Do you consider yourself a romantic?
Mm, at heart, but not like it takes a while. It takes a certain kind of person for me to be that 100% of the time. Because I'm very much like, I'm not impressed.
Why we sis? Why we here?
You know that.
Why we here? Because I would consider myself a romantic,
Like,
but
it's there.
I have to be able to trust you.
Right.
If I cannot trust you, you
I
I
don't
have
even
to you
know
have to
you.
earn my trust. I have to earn your trust. And until that is, I'm not gonna go over bend over backwards. Not like I used to
Hmm.
as a fool growing up.
And that's why I have because I'm very much the one to do whatever I can for you. I want to do everything. Oh, you like that? I will, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you like. Like she's in there, but everyone can't get that. You know what I'm saying? So until I know, like, okay, the coast is clear, she can come out. I'm
Right.
not, I'm not
So,
gonna see her.
I don't know if anybody's shocked to know that I'm a crybaby, but because I am. I mean, weddings, I'm crying. She crying, I'm crying. Having a baby, she cried, I'm crying. Listen, don't let it be a funeral service. I was just slid down a wall or
Listen,
something.
first of all, don't invite me to nobody's funeral. Okay, just this. Oh, so that's. I'm glad you said that because I was writing a funeral scene for Out of Luck 2, and that's what happened. I was in there writing that scene, like I can't believe I just killed this character off, and then I was like, yo, I can't do this. I need a romance.
Can you
Love.
just give the people in the back, just explain to them how you became author Olivia Linden? Just not so much from little, but what
Um.
what was the process for you?
Okay, so like I said, I love writing, right? So I've always writing stories. I think the process for me was figuring out what I wanted to write or that I was going to take it serious, and then researching the steps for self-publishing and just being like, girl, you could do that. You reading a book, 50 Shades of Grey, you could do that. You could just and just doing it. But I'm a different type of person. Like for some people that would be a little scary. I'm one of those people that I'll try anything one time. And
Mm-hmm.
if I don't, if that book flopped and no one ever read it, I would have been like, remember back in 2013 when I tried to write a book? That's just me. So I was just like, let's do it. Let's see what happens.
When did you take it seriously, though?
When the book came out and people were inboxing me, and one girl was like, I forgot the name of the Facebook group, but she was like, girl, they in this group this talking about your book. I was like, what? Talking about whose book? I'm like, talking about me? And the group had like, I don't know, 800, 1,000 people in it. And this woman was reading it. She said she stayed up all night reading it. She couldn't fall asleep. And then the whole group was like, okay, we're gonna read it. And so that's a lot of people at one time to decide they're gonna start reading your book. And I was like, okay. Because then people were like, well, what about book two? And I'm like, man, I never even thought that anybody was gonna read book one.
Right, right. Okay,
Mm.
well, I love the journey that you and other authors are sharing with us, because I just want people to know, if they're aspiring authors, this is there's one way, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and you can get to
Mm-hmm.
the same
Mm-hmm.
level of
Yeah.
success,
And
if
I think
but
that's
you got to put the
important.
work in.
That's important for anybody, whether you want to write a book or you're already writing, maybe your first. What it looks like for one person is not going to be what it is necessarily for you. And there's no right or wrong way, especially if we're self publishing. Hey guys, there is no right or wrong way. Just do what works for you. If
Do
you can pump out a book a month,
do that.
pump it. If you need time, take your time. And don't feel like, okay, well, this is happening over here. If you know how to edit, if you know how to do things and you feel comfortable, if you don't, that's fine too. You know what I'm saying? This is not like, it's not like parenting where, there's this like script and all parents should act a certain way. No, this is a creative function that we're also trying to navigate into a practical space of a business. But you don't want to squash your creativity worrying too much about how it should be.
Do you feel like you're successful?
Yes,
What does
because
success look like to you, though?
success for me is doing what I want to do and it hitting. Right? There's a target. The target is I wrote this book and I have a target. I want people to read it. My Now, like I said, do I want my books to explode? Yes, I do. But that wasn't the marker. It wasn't like I have to write this book so I can become famous. My
Hmm.
marker was I want to write this book because I want people to read this story. I want to share this story with other people. And so because my stories are being shared and I can come on here and see you, oh, I read this, short book, Naturally Naughty. I was like, oh snap. I'm like, somebody just read Naturally Naughty. I'm dying. That's to me, that's the greatest feeling.
um, how do you balance your business versus everyday life? I know some people have full-time jobs, some people have children, some
Hmm.
people have small kids, some people have husbands, some people don't. How do you balance, make it, because you make it look effortless?
It's not. Um,
The
mm-mm.
chaos, you make the chaos look
Yeah, I don't show
palatable.
you guys that part. That's why you see me out here laughing and smiling. I don't see me when I'm in the bed like, what am I doing? Oh, when it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm like this and I'm like, oh man, I gotta upload today by 4 o'clock. But so I've done it both ways. I've done it while I was working, right? And I used to come home, pick up my son from school, give him dinner, get him situated, and then I would sit up until 4 o'clock in the morning writing. sleep for 3.5, 4 hours, get up, go to work, and do it again the next day. And I did that for, I think, 30 days until that book was finished. So now I'm doing more project management, work from home type things, and my schedule is more flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's harder because if I don't write today, I have more time. And when you have more time, you think you have more time. So you have to force yourself now to be like, all right, sit down, pay attention. When you only have between this hour and this hour to write, you know you're going to write in that time period.
Right.
When it's open now, you're like, oh, if I don't write now, I could just do it later. And then later becomes tomorrow. And next thing you know, I wanted to get this book done, in a month. And I've been sitting here just like playing around for a month. So my goal for 2025 is to be more focused and consistent with my schedule.
But are you hard on yourself when you don't meet your schedule?
I used to
Your
be, but now
deadline?
I be like, what? What am I gonna do? Fire myself? You're fired. Now I'm like, come on, you gotta do better. I'm in my soft girl era. I'm treating myself kinder, so I can't be.
Screaming for the people in the back. Why? Why do we do that to ourselves? I'm one of those people. Like yesterday, I was in a live, and so we were griping about a particular situation. But in my head is going like this: How can we fix it? How can we fix it? And so I go to bed last night. I said, okay, I'm going to get through the majority of Capri 3.5, and then I'm going to go to bed. I'm up after I said I turned off Capri 3.5, but my mind is still going like this. I was like, I got to figure it out.
I don't know. It took me a long time because my mind is so ridiculous that the things that people do to relax themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like this, and everything will be relaxed, and then I'll be like, oh, there's this big story, and and I'm like looking at everyone else, and they're chilling, and I'm like, I'm laughing because I'm like, oh my god, like there's just, I think certain people's brains are just wired like that. But I find that just like it, I know it doesn't sound, it may sound crazy to you, but just like stopping and really just saying, I'm gonna breathe real quick. Because a
So that
lot
was
of
my next question. How do you say, okay, let me take care of me mentally
yeah, you
while I'm going
gotta.
through this crisis?
Yeah, I do meditation. Venus is on here. She does guided meditations. I do meditation, but sometimes you just gotta breathe. And because when I learned that a lot of times we don't even breathe, even though we're breathing naturally, we're not actually ever taking full breaths into our lungs. And so sometimes I'll just stop and just focus on breathing. If you're focused on your breathing, you're not worried about what's going on here. And then you relax. And even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you have that relaxation and you could just be like, all right, let me regroup and try again.
I have an interesting question. With in today's climate, do you feel that we are still being overlooked in this bookish space with all the new book events that are coming up? Do you feel like we are finally being seen, or do you still feel like we're being overlooked?
I think we're on like the turning point. I think that things like this, I think TikTok has really helped to shine a light on people who might not necessarily have been seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Human nature is funny. It's like we could sit here and pinpoint all the things that, were overlooked by mainstream. But then also within the community, a lot of times, like if you're not like known or popular, or if certain people don't know you, you know, what you gonna do? Like we don't know you like that. It's like you
Right.
really, you're nobody until somebody knows you, and that could be kind of difficult because there's a lot of people who have a lot to offer. And I mean, I've come across certain books, and I'm like, why are more people not reading and talking about this book? This book is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times it's like it's the same people that you see people talking about. Like I have other accounts for something else. And so it's funny when book talk stuff comes on my timeline, the more popular accounts that are getting like 800,000 views a video. And they're always talking about the same five authors.
Right.
And I get it. Like, if you love somebody, you want to pick them up, that's great. But you have a whole bookshelf behind you, right? And you're saying that you were a reader, but you're not talking about anyone other than the people that everyone else is talking about. Like, I don't understand it. Part
I
of me
think I
wants.
make it my mission to not do that. I make it my
Right.
mission to find new to me authors, even though I might see them on my timeline. When I get a moment, I have some room to breathe. Because a lot of times I have obligations, especially now
Mhm.
that I'm doing this. But I try and find authors like this Christmas season. I got back to back to back new to me authors that people would have never ever said anything about because they don't go outside of those same people. Now I like those authors too, but I
Right.
also like new authors, and they be bringing that fire, and I'm gonna need people to expand. And
Hmm.
again, you were a new to me author at one point. Now look at you.
Right. Look at me now.
Now look at you.
Look
It's like
at me.
every time you drop something, I was like, okay, I gotta put this down because I gotta get to this real quick because I know it's gonna be fire.
And I mean, I feel like I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody, but I just feel like everybody deserves an opportunity to shine. And if you get that opportunity and you don't do anything with it, okay, moving around. But to just not ever, give the floor. So like what the Boozy Book Tour is doing, especially with their awards, right? I think that's amazing because it's giving people who nobody knows about. Some people never heard of. Like I saw somebody watch the video, they're like, I don't even know who that is, and I'm like, really? Because they have a lot of good books out. So I think that if more events like that start popping up, because like even the book events that are geared towards Black authors, if you don't know about that event, you're not getting invited.
Right.
They're not. Who's inviting you? So you have to literally be vigilant. And I know people who really go out of their way and still don't get accepted to be part of the event.
So let's pivot for just a second. So
Hmm.
I went to a black bookstore and I asked for very specific books,
Hmm.
a lot of indie authors, and the lady was like, I don't know who that is. Bookstore owners.
Hmm.
You see this lady sitting next to me?
Hmm.
It needs to be
Hmm.
on your shelf.
I mean, you ever heard of the term gatekeeping exists for a reason, right? And there's some people who want to be either they want to be responsible for breaking that person. Oh, I'm the one who first put her in my bookstore.
Right.
So it's like they're gonna be very like finger on the trigger of who they can allow. But other people, it's like a club. You're not in the club. They don't know you. You're a reader. You came into the store and said, "Hey, I read this author and I think she's really good." And the person says, "I don't know them." There's a disconnect there because you have a customer in your store, which means there's probably other customers that would want to come in to see that book, but because you don't know about this person, that
It was no move to say, oh, what's her name? Maybe I can look her up. Maybe I can get her in my stores or whatever.
Mhm.
I feel like there needs to be some type of meeting of the minds. And it irritates my soul. And then you still have the traditionally published authors who are in the back of the stores. Why are they not in the front?
Right.
What is that about? Is this Are you scared that we gonna take something from you? What is it? Inquiring minds want to know.
And I'm sure we've had this conversation, but you know how we have alien romance and we have shifter romance, and people can really get into it and imagine that, but then they'll say, oh, well, I can't read this book because I can't imagine myself being a black person. So you can imagine yourself with an alien with 8 legs and 8 dicks, but you can't read a book because as black people, help me. Like
Or
where's the
that
love?
we can't have those things because you have them.
Right.
It boggles my mind. It
It's
really does,
what I
that
compare it
you
to.
expect us to see us. Like, I don't read anybody outside of black. I'll read.
Mhm.
I'm not a lesbian. I'm not gay. I'm none of those things. But I can read those things because, again, they're diverse.
Mhm.
I don't see myself as that, but I purposefully don't read them,
Mhm.
because if you can't see us, I can't see you.
Mm.
And that's just me. 95% of my bookshelf is us.
It's us. Listen, I've come that way because growing up there wasn't a lot of access for us. Now we can basically you could determine that you only want to read urban fiction. You could determine that you only want to read African American romance. You can decide that now. Back in the day, you go in the bookstore and it was like you had very slim choices. And so if you wanted to read a fantasy, if you wanted to read, historical, you either had to dig and search to find the black author that wrote that story, or you had to take what was there, right? In school, what books are they making us read in school? They're not giving us options to read
Right.
books by black authors in school.
No.
So, now I find myself reading mostly black stories because it's like, listen, like you said, if y'all cannot relate, it's like, listen, I just don't even understand that concept. If somebody put a book in front of me and said this book is really good, I would not say, "Oh, I can't read it because they're not black." Right? But you get to this point where it's like, y'all don't need my patronage. I'm going to
You
look
do
out
not need my dollars.
for my people, right? Because if I'm not supporting my people, it's like every minute that I spend supporting someone else, I could be supporting my people.
But I also need black store owners to get
Hmm.
out your own way and start including independent authors on your shelves too. I need that. I need that to happen ASAP. And I think I'm getting ready to be real vocal about it.
I
Um,
mean, taking accountability to sometimes as an author, it's easy for me to sit here and I have my desk and my setup and I can come, commune with you like this. I got to get outside this house though. I got to go to the bookstores myself, right? Maybe you went in there, but maybe I need to go in there with my books and be like, hey, I'm a new author. And I mean, they're not always receptive to that either, but I think more of us need to try that. And I think that just doing more of this, right? Like you said, you're putting it on YouTube. I think that's really going to go a long way for, us to get to this place where it is more of a normalcy for
right.
people to say, yeah. Because, like, even going on and I see girls like, oh, I'm looking for black romance. And I'm like, you can't be serious. You stop. You're not serious.
I mean, like, you do know Google is your friend, right?
Like, stop it.
Like, seriously, Google is your friend. What inspires you to keep going?
I just love it. I love it. There's certain times where I'm like, especially in the middle of editing, I'll be like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. But then, especially like I have a group of author friends, and a couple of people, listen, what you doing next? Or it's like, okay, off to the next project. And then that excitement, the thought of that creating that next story, those next characters. And I'm like, I'm never gonna stop doing that. So why would I ever say, oh, I'm not gonna write another book? I'm in it. Thug life.
You know what? See, you a thug. You a thug after my own heart. um, I answer this, or fill in the blank. Blank is life for me.
Hmm. What is life? Dang, there's so many different things. I'm so moody because if you ask me this question next week, the answer gonna be different.
But
But
it does, and that's
right
okay.
now,
You
right
reserve the
now,
right to change your mind or your answer.
and I do trust me. I would say reading is life because I'm always reading. I'm always reading, especially now, like the Kindle app on my phone. I love reading. I've loved reading since I was 3 years old. I never will not be reading a book.
Can you read and write at the same time?
Yes.
And I'm not one of those people.
But
I don't
that's
care if I'm
probably
writing an
why.
essay. I
Really?
cannot.
But that's probably why I probably would get my projects out quicker if I wasn't. Because what did I read in this last 2 weeks? I read like um I want to say at least 10 books. Because I got a bunch of books from Bray, and I'm like, listen, I don't want to do what I normally do and let these things sit on my Kindle. So, so I'll sit down to dinner, and
How do you like the Braven? Because I think it is fabulous. How, as an author, is that something that does that help you help,
Mhm.
or
All right.
does it just give you? It's just like, oh, I'm just appreciating the readers, or does it help your business?
The verdict is still out. I think it's an excellent opportunity. I actually wish I hadn't participated in other events. If had I known about Bray, I wouldn't have done others because I had given a chance in there, and I think this year already I've given away almost 10,000 copies of Given a Chance.
Mm.
Right. So that's amazing because that's like wow, 10,000 people could possibly read this book. But what the reality is when you download 100 books, 50 books, when are they really going to read it, right? I don't have 10,000 reviews on Amazon nor Goodreads.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I guess it's a long-term investment. I got to look at it like that, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that as an author, you got to be strategic. I'm always going to give back, but I think this year I gave a little bit too much. I gave a little bit too much. So I think like doing something like Bray once a year for authors is good. That's a good event.
I have a question. What is the nicest thing a reader have ever said to you?
Um, so it was hearing somebody else say, I love this book. I love this book so much. I don't understand why you're not famous. I don't understand why you're not bigger. And I know, like I said, that's not the goal, but to hear somebody say that they think you're so good that you should be this big, that was like, wow, thank you. And like being like very aggressive about it too. Like it was my fault. Like, what are you doing wrong? Why are you not? I'm like, I'm trying, I promise.
What is the worst thing someone's ever said to you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't retain those because I don't care. I don't care what you gotta say.
That's
Like once
perfect answer.
once I got to that point where I'm like, all right, I'm confident about what I write. I don't if you don't like it, I don't care.
How 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 do you build confidence in this industry? Because I know you have to have tough skin.
I mean, I'll be real. Like I said, the first time around, I didn't have it and I had to. So I think, that probably gave me a little leg up. I knew what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have days, but you have your friends, you have your support system that you can complain to, and people that could be like, girl, it's not even that serious, or, you just be like, all right, just move around. Just move around. The more time you spend like this is going to hinder you going this way, right? So, every now and then it's just like, don't worry about that. Don't look like it's like having hecklers when you run in a marathon and there's people booing you.
Right, right.
They win. If I look at you and slow down, then I miss my mark. So you gotta go that way.
Is it easy to stay humble in this space you're
I
in.
think that's just my personality. I don't know. I would hate to be like a if I don't know. I think all the time like I think that's what probably keeps me balanced because I'm very much like I can be the center of attention, but I don't wake up every day like I got to be in the middle. If I had that personality, I don't even know what would be going on right now. I don't know.
I
But
I I think for me, age has calmed me down. Because when I tell you, I was in my 30s, honey, I was all in. I thought I was the best thing since sliced bread. Baby, you couldn't tell me nothing. Okay? I had my own little stuff. I was doing my own little thing. I mean, this
mm-hmm.
is probably mid 30s to early 40s. And then life happened. And I think that humbled me. And now, with that humbling me,
Mm-hmm.
um, I am where I'm supposed to be. Do you feel like you're where you're supposed to be?
So yes, yes. It's funny because business wise, I have way more confidence in myself now as far as presenting myself, whatever. If I feel like if I had gone into this at a younger age, I'd have been a hot mess because like you said, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was here, there, and everywhere, but it was giving messy. You know what I'm saying? It was giving you doing a little bit too much, baby. You doing a little bit too
Right,
much.
right.
So now it's like you've got a little bit of good sense, and I could take that good sense and, do something and focus. And there's nothing else. Like, there's nothing outside that's going to take my attention away. If I have a deadline that I set for a book, when I was in my 30s, I'd be like, ooh, I got to go outside, and I'll finish this tomorrow, the next day. Now I'm like, no, I've got to finish the book. Boom. I'm not missing anything.
But does your family, do they support your
Yeah.
craft?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they proud?
Yeah.
They be
Because
like,
when you,
like,
especially when you stick with it, it's difficult when you don't have what to some people is considered success, because to most people success is having thousands of reviews, making a certain amount of money, right? But I know the progress that I'm making, right? I know that even where I am right now is not typical. There's people who are trying to get anything and they're like, hello, hello, does anybody hear me? So I'm proud of myself. And I think that's where it starts. I think that when you're proud of yourself, it makes it easier for people to be like, okay, because when you're wishy washy about what you're doing, then it makes other people be like, oh, okay. But you got to get to that place where it doesn't matter if no one supports you,
right.
if you've got something that you want to do, you just do it. Because it's not going to look like what you think. I have friends, I have people in my life that if they supported me, this would look so different. So it's so funny to me, like I just knew that this person would share and this person, and if they all just did it, a couple times a week, radio silence. The people that you have been in their lives, you showed up for them, right? You have been to all of their events, you have paid money to help their friends do stuff, you have gone to different states to support people, and they see you out here every day. And they couldn't even press the like button. And then there's people I don't know, have never met. There's 26 people in here right now that could be doing something else, right? There's one person in this chat that's related to me. Everyone else is either an author friend, right? Or a reader. Why don't I have 25 people in here that know me personally that are like, oh, let's see what Olivia's doing tonight?
I felt the same way. I
Okay?
felt the same way about this podcast. I had to tell my family, I was like, you guys are on my Instagram page. Y'all can at least like it. Just like
Mhm.
it. Whether you look at it or not, just like it. And so my sister, she was like, I don't really. I said, listen, Linda, I'm gonna need you to pay attention to me just a little bit because I pay attention to you. And no, and this is no bullshit.
Mhm.
And she said, you know what, you're right. I'm very sorry. And sometimes you have to do that with your family, but
I'm not
She
doing
gave me
it.
some really good constructive criticism. She was
Mm-hmm.
like, "How you so nice to them, but you was never nice to?" I said,
Get
"Because
over
I'm a nice
it.
person. Y'all got on my nerves."
Get over it. I don't know. Somebody in the comments said, God will send you strangers. If you're serious about it, right? You see where you're headed. And you have people that are going to support you because we love you. I told you, I love seeing you come up on my timeline. I love the way that you conduct your interviews. I love authors. So I love to see other people when they come and what they have to say and, what their experiences are. And that's it. Don't worry about the who is supporting you or the how, what it looks like, or
It
it's
doesn't matter.
okay. Because guess what they say? Everybody can't go with you. So what you're gonna right now, you're building your found family, right? That's a big trope in the R&B series. That found family. The people who, you grew up with that you thought were gonna have your back, they stabbed you in the back. But here are these people that don't know you that are ready to go to bed. Look at what Shane did for Joey, right? Did he have to know her for 25 years? Did they have to be related? No. There was something about her. He's a good friend. She needed a friend. And he said, all right, you know what? I'm going to do this for you. And so to me, that's what I'm opening up myself for. There's going to be people who want to do things for you just because they see what you got on you. And they're like, okay, let's help this person on the way. I do that for people all the time. I don't know some people I see on here and they have no views, they have no nothing. And I'm like, every time I see this person, I'm going to engage with them.
I try to. I think now, um, if I'm aware, like I was aware of two authors. She says I'm really close to giving up. I said, let me get this lady's books because I really need to see what's going on. And like
Mm-hmm.
I explained to her, if I don't like it, I will send you a message.
Mm-hmm.
If I love it, if I like it, and it's cool, if I can give you a 3 stars, then I will.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not reviewing your book because it's you. I'm reviewing your books because I like to read.
That's it. And it's just you're gonna stay true to yourself anyway. But if you help who you can, but you do what you do for yourself, and you just don't harm anyone. I'm not out here giving people bad reviews. I'm not out here blocking people. I'm not out here, worrying about other people, wishing them harm. I'm doing what I have to do and I'm connecting with the people. There's people that you connect with and they stay. There's some that they don't.
Right.
There's people that say they love you, but their actions don't show that they love you. So you just have to keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, so if you can invite, this is my favorite
Oh
question.
gosh.
If you can invite 5 people dead or alive, 5 authors dead or alive, who would they be? Mine's change weekly, so I'm gonna give you mine, but I want you to give me yours first.
No, give me yours first. Give
No,
me some
because
time to
I'm writing them
think.
out.
Hmm?
I'm writing them out. You go ahead.
Because there's so many people that I want to meet.
You can only choose
So
5.
okay. So I'm invited. Are we at a special place? I need to set
Dinner.
the scene.
You're
I need to
inviting
set
5 people to
the
dinner.
scene. We're at dinner?
Mhm.
Okay. So definitely, Isla's gonna be at dinner, right? Because we're gonna be making faces
I'm
um,
screaming.
while I oh, these things put me on the spot and everything goes blank. All right. So, okay, I would definitely put Zane at the table because I have some questions for her.
Okay.
I have some questions, ma'am, that I want to ask
Okay.
you. Um, let's see. 2 down, 3 to go, huh?
You want me to
Um,
give you mine?
hmm?
You want me to give you mine while you think about it?
Please, and give me time to think.
Okay. So I have Isla, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because Isla is a hoot. I love her. I love her energy. I love her insanity because we here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, you, of course, you got to be at the table. You got to be at the table. Terry McMillan.
Okay.
I
Okay.
need Terry. I got questions.
See, that's how I feel about Zane.
I got questions, lady. I got some questions for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I would like to know how Maya Angelou, how she would
Mm,
think about this book industry as it is now.
that's good.
I would do Maya Angelou, and then my last person is Shonda Rhimes.
Okay. Okay. So we're doing Dead or Alive. Okay. 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 So you. Okay. I got Isla. I got Zane. I'm putting Zora Neale Hurston right back at that table because I know that me and her will probably talk all night. Um, Nikki Giovanni, because I would love to pick her brain and just go back and forth. Um, Stephen King, I want him at my table too because
You're not
there's
the first person who's called him out.
hmm.
You're not the first person.
Listen, what's going on? What's going on? So I think that's five. Yeah, those. I think that would be a dope table.
I think that would be a dope table too. That would be very interesting conversation.
Hmm.
Very, very, very interesting.
Ooh, James Patterson is also a good one, but I don't know. His personality is a little weird. He a little weird.
Hello, off.
Mm. I don't know if I want him at my table.
Question: what do you hope readers will gain from your book,
um.
from your writing?
So when, like I said, when I write, I try to whatever I'm feeling, I try to get you to feel that. So when you're reading the R&B series, I want you to feel that giddiness, that tension. You know what I'm saying? Like I want you to feel those things, and then come away like, "Ooh, that was a good book." Oh, Olivia. That's what I want.
You know, but not ooh. That's what I was feeling. Girl, because let me tell you something. Shame
Mm.
had me feeling some ways. And I had to take a break. I think I said that. Yeah.
That's so funny that Shane, because I swear I'm telling you, Jay was the one. Jay, I was just like, I was writing it like, ooh, okay.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years as an author?
In 5 years, I see myself maybe doing a little bit more public speaking. Um, Maybe mentoring, younger authors or just mentoring. I want to mentor young girls in general. I feel like there's a lot of gaps in our society right now, and the generations coming up they're just missing out on a lot of basic life things, that could prepare them. So that's what I want for myself.
I see that. I see that. Um, did you ever have to just? I do have this question. Then we're gonna get to the end of this. Did you ever have to like grapple with like your pen name, or just using it? What was that process like?
So initially, I have a book that published with poems under my real name. And I was like, maybe one day I might write a children's book. And I can't have like the spicy, smutty books and the children's books be all in the same name. So I created the pen name for my romance books and I left my real name so that if I ever choose to write, nonfiction or children's books, will be under my real name.
Because I was looking at some uh it might have been Blossom where she her writing got her in trouble,
Mm,
and I mean with her job,
mm,
and I felt like the pen name did not protect her
yeah.
as it should have.
I mean, it's hard once you start becoming popular, and especially like if you have to be very careful with your SEO and just separating. You can't have a pen name, but then have it on the same email as your regular name, because then it's all going to start merging together. So if that's a concern, like you have to be very meticulous about creating a whole new identity, new email, new telephone number, new everything for that other name. Me, I there was never any job or anything that was gonna make me feel like I was giving them my book. I was like, "Oh, I wrote a book. Hey, y'all want to read it?" I was walking into work, throwing it at the CEO. I wrote a book, and then they were coming back like, "This is interesting." I'm like, "Mm-hmm." I don't care. Like, I know y'all do it. You have 3 kids. I know you do it. So, you know, the pen name is literally just, I could see a children's book or two, and I just was like, all right, let's save that for the kids.
Do you feel like things could, well, no, I'm not going to say it that way. What would you change in this bookish community and what would you keep? One thing you would change and one thing that you would keep in today's bookish community.
So I would keep the way that everybody kind of just comes together. Like, we're all different, and everybody's trying to, put themselves out there, but there's a community, right? It's really like a community. Like, you have, these people over here, you've got Storm, you've got, the Boozy Book Tour, you got all this stuff going on, but at somehow we all intersect. We all come together. I love that because I think that's so crazy. I'm like, when I first came out, it was very segmented. I wrote an interracial romance, and I couldn't come over here. I couldn't come in this room. I couldn't go over there. I couldn't hang with these chicks. So now to see, more people just like cross, mingling, commingling, that's cool. I try not to feed into it. You know me, I don't get involved, but there's still this like mean girl, you can't sit with us type energy. And I'm like, I don't understand that. It's books. I'm like, this is books. If you want to do makeup tutorials and you want to do something else, like, take that petty catty stuff somewhere else. I don't understand. Reading books is not supposed to ever feel like that.
It's not. It's
So
not. It's not. It works my nerves when we still are doing petty girl stuff like we in high school. We're not in high school no more. I need people to grow up.
like, oh, I don't like this
Right.
person. Who the hell cares? Who cares? Who cares? And I don't understand, like, if you genuinely just don't vibe with someone,
That's
you don't
okay.
have to force it either. You don't have to, you just keep it moving. Keep it moving. But, there's always weird things. So if I could just like, with all that weird stuff and just focus like on the people who, we're all trying. And I think that collective trying, that collective wanting something different is what the difference maker is. So when you
Mm-hmm.
ask that question about like us finally getting recognition, I think if we keep, because we need each other. Me by myself, it's, one person is very hard to just say, yeah, I'm going to break out, I'm going to do the mold. You need a community, you need a support system.
Right.
You need a community. You need people who support you, people who will show up every time you say I'm going live and be like, yeah, I'm going to come in and be here for you. Because if no one's watching, how are you going
What's
to,
the point?
right? What
What's
we
the
doing
point?
this for?
All right. So I need you to pop your shit. What you got coming up? What's next? What's next?
Okay, so out of luck two. Okay, I need you to just remind me to get you those 4 chapters so y'all can read it.
Okay.
So, Valentine's Day book. R&B books, book 4, right? Out of Luck, Geeks and Jocks anthology. That's all like the first half of the year. Oh,
Girl, you need.
Christmas. So wait, my Christmas book.
That's
December
coming out on what
3rd.
day?
Mischief and Mistletoe, December 23rd.
Okay.
I
Pop
have
your
all y'all
shit,
information.
ma'am.
Y'all are on my ARC list.
Am I on your ARC list? Yes, I am. I am. I am.
Yeah,
I am.
you are.
I am. I am. Thank you for popping your shit with me.
Thank you for having me on. This is fun. You
I
know,
appreciate you.
if you ever need anything, you just let me know.
Now, listen. Do I look like I'm getting ready to not ask?
Okay.
I love you. I love. Can I just say this? I love the community that you, Isla, Denise, and all the other authors. Y'all just. I love that camaraderie. I cannot say that word, God.
Yeah.
Jesus help me talk right. I love that
Yeah. And I
friendship
think
that you
that's
guys have
important.
built.
I think it's very important because sometimes you feel like you're out here by yourself.
Hmm.
And, just to have people that you could check in with and be like, hey, what's going on with you? And, sometimes you need that pep and that little boost and that little, yeah, that happened to me too, but let's just, move past and go.
What book events are you going to be at 2025?
So in February, I'm going to be at Boozy Book Tour Tulsa, the Melanin
I
Ball.
will be there.
That is going to be so good. Trust me. And then after that, it's the Black Romance Fest
Okay.
in Atlanta in May.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to get to some other events. I moved. So now that I live in Texas, I've got to see what is in this area and see if I can maybe get to some other
And
stuff.
you were in Florida, right?
I'm from New York. I was in Florida visiting before I
Okay.
came to Texas. I was like, let me see my people before I come to the Midwest.
Okay. 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 And where can people find you?
So I'm Olivia Linden everywhere. If you look for Olivia Linden author, you're gonna pull up everything. But on TikTok, it's Olivia Linden author. Facebook, it's Via Linden. No, Facebook is Olivia Linden. IG handle is at Via Linden. But again, everything is Olivia Linden author.
Okay. Are you on Threads? And
Threads, Twitter, even though I don't really use it, but yeah.
I'm not going
But
over
what's
there.
this new one, Blue Sky? I'm trying to get into that. I don't know. I don't know
Blue
about that.
Sky is very much early Twitter.
Early Twitter. That's what it's giving.
Yes, giving much, but you know who created Blue Sky? The creator of Twitter.
Oh.
Not
Womp,
that
womp,
thoroughwig guy
womp.
that bought it,
Mm-hmm.
but the other
The
guy.
real. Okay.
Yeah, he said, okay, you want to play? We gonna make this how it's supposed to be for
Okay,
real.
so let's see. Let's see. Because Threads is giving me Twitter also. Threads
It
is
is.
giving me, old school Twitter.
Yeah, I think with Blue Sky, it's a lot of engagement over there. So make sure you're over there. It's a lot of us over there,
Okay, okay. Yeah, I started it I think like a week ago, so I have to get into it.
and then I'm gonna also ask you to check out Fanbase.
Fan really? Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
saying, check it out. I
No,
think
because I've heard of it, but I didn't know people were still active. Like, like it's still popping. Get in there. Okay.
I don't know if it's popping. I just think that it's an opportunity to create a space for us. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing that I don't care for about fan base is that, or any of the other social sites, is that you can't go live like we normally go live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So once TikTok dies down, I'm gonna be doing it via Zoom,
Yeah.
which I feel like sucks. But I mean, Zoom doesn't suck, but the process of sex. I like going live because I like for people to see you and be able to ask
I was
questions.
about to say YouTube is not a bad medium because you can have multiple people on the live on
Yeah, I
YouTube.
have to learn it.
Yeah. I mean, trust me, I used to do YouTube. So I'm thinking, as an author, how to utilize YouTube myself. But I think
And you
YouTube,
should come on
yeah,
over there.
I think YouTube is probably, if you want to replicate what we're doing here on TikTok, YouTube is probably going to be the closest as far as like the visuals going live.
Hmm.
You can have short videos or you can have long form videos.
Well, I'm over there now,
Hmm.
so I just have to. Girl, I got about
Ooh, Twitch,
20.
probably streaming. That's a good idea. That was a good suggestion. I
Shannon
think
was telling
that,
me restream. That's what she uses in
yeah,
order to get
I
over
think that
there.
we think streaming is for gamers, but I feel like a lot of people are now getting into streaming, whether you're a gamer or not. So I might think about that. Rumble.
Just
What's all these ideas?
I'm booked and busy everywhere. Y'all make
Everywhere.
sure that you're following Olivia on all her social platforms. Make sure you are buying her books. Make sure that you are in her inbox talking about her
Listen, hit
book.
me up. I don't bite, okay?
She talks. You can talk to her. She'll talk back.
I talk back. I might talk to you. You'd be like, okay, Olivia, thanks. I'd be like, so how are you? Well, did you get to this part yet? Okay, let me
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. Make sure that you have read the R&B series because if not, you have missed a treat. Me and my book club, we love Out of Luck, and we waiting on Out of Luck
But it's
2.
coming. It's coming. Oh, Becca's right here too. If you want, I have paperbacks also. You can get signed paperbacks on my website. And it'll probably be the price or maybe even less than what you get on Amazon. But yeah, so part two is coming. Part two is
I
coming.
have to get Out of Luck 1, so I will be on your site getting that. Um, yeah. Make
Yeah.
sure that you're liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. It's Booked and Busy. It's up here at the top. It's all one word. Booked and spell out and then Bizzie. Make sure you're liking and subscribing and clicking that reminder button. And thank you so
Oh, so many
much.
people in okay, Tulsa's gonna be lit. I see so many people talking about Tulsa. Um
We in that thing.
we in it. Oh, that's gonna be a good time. All right. So my website is Queen of Vibes, but the vibes is with a Z and not an S.
Okay.
And queenofvibes.com, yeah. So you can get everything from me there.
I need you guys to make sure that in order to keep this book community the way that it's supposed to be, that if you're buying books, instead of maybe going to the Zine, maybe go to the author's website. Try that first. I'm just saying. You might get, I love getting a signed copy versus it coming quickly.
I mean,
I'd rather get a signed
why
copy.
not? If you could get a signed, listen, if I could just get a signed copy, I'm gonna take that.
That's what I'm saying. Hey Tati, hey Darrell. Anybody?
Hey,
She says
everybody,
it's
let me
Mia
just see
Linden
everybody in the
on
chat.
Facebook. Darrell. Anybody have any questions before we get off this live?
Thank you. Thank you for, having me right before Christmas. Mischief
Ma'am,
and mistletoe, everybody. Mischief and mistletoe.
let me
December
tell you
21st.
something. When I reached out to you, you responded so quickly. And I was
Listen.
like, because you were one of the first ones to respond. And I was like, oh, they're going to do this. Because
Hmm.
I didn't know what I was doing. I said, I'm just going to put, and I mean, as I'm sending out messages, because again, I'm sliding DMs. And you were like, of course. I was like,
Girl, you had me with the church hats. You came on with, listen, when you came on with the church hat, I was like, okay, all right.
this fool, what is wrong with her?
I was like, I see it. Okay. I see what's going on
My
here.
father was like, what are you doing? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, honey. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't
And
worry
it
about
works
it.
because now when I see the church hat, I'm set. I'm like, oh, what's she about to? Okay, what's going on in this book?
Because if
You
you
know,
know
I
if
was
it's a church
happy
hat, it
into
means
the
what?
whole
It's a good book.
Delgado series because of you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Child.
Mm-hmm.
If Jaquel don't leave me alone with these characters, I don't want her to stop. But when
And
I
I
tell
saw
you,
her mention some characters. I said, "Oh no, they about to be a book too. Oh boy, there's about to be a whole other series.
so
Oh
you
boy."
know she has after 3.5 is Quasim, I think. He's
Mm-hmm.
next. And then the daddy is getting daddy
Not
Des.
the
Now listen,
daddy.
the daddy for me, Papa Inferno. I'm trying to decide which one I like better. That's right up my alley.
You tell. I'm okay. Okay, you talking about Papa Inferno's getting a book? Okay.
No, no, I'm talking about Daddy Des Delgado.
Wait.
He's getting a book too.
Good night.
I'm just saying.
This is too much.
I become a Delgado after all.
You might be. You might have to add that to your last name.
Listen, I like a good daddy book. I love a good daddy book. Okay,
Oh, that's gonna be a
we
doozy.
over here in chokeholds.
Mm-hmm.
But ma'am, I'm waiting on you on December 23rd.
Okay. It's almost here.
I'm waiting on it. And you saying it's a good one.
It's a
It,
slow burn, okay? It's not like, it's not like Lovers and Friends where they was blinking, but it's
I'm okay
still
with a slow burn.
it's still
Just don't
giving
let
you.
me pass out too long though. Because if it takes too long, I'll be sliding down walls like, when is gonna
Yeah,
happen?
you're gonna be sliding on the wall, but I give you just enough to be like, okay.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me get excited.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your gift because you are truly gifted.
Thank you.
I appreciate you
I
because you are
appreciate
you.
you.
And I don't do well with receiving them, but I'll give some accolades. Because,
Well, hey,
girl,
I'm giving you all the love right now.
thank you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. And I'll be seeing
Bye,
you on the
everybody.
internet, ma'am. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
waiting on the 23rd. And hopefully this is not your last time.
No, listen, whenever you're ready,
Okay.
you let me know.
Well, trust me, listen, the way y'all authors are coming here, y'all just got my dates together. It's coming.
Good
It's
night.
coming. Bye, y'all. Happy
Everybody.
reading.